Hello, my name is Martin Watts. My magazine is called Propeller. My audience. I thought that similar magazines they might be interested in is Blender, Enemy and Kerrang. They're going to be part of social networking sites like Facebook and Bebo and MySpace. And they're going to attend a lot of concerts and gigs, hence their attraction to the music magazines in the first place. They'll probably be at college or university. They're really into music on the go, like MP3 players have really taken off. They text a lot, always got their mobile phones on them. They watch a lot of TV, which is quite easy to watch TV, like Skins and Misfits, things like that. Often learning to drive at this age, and they're interested in recognised brands such as H&M and Topshop. They also go to the cinema quite a lot, and they take buses almost everywhere. And they like fast and cheap food, like McDonald's and KFC, the two biggest distributors of food. Alright, I asked my audience what their favourite aspect about the magazine was, and the majority of them said the pictures were the most interesting. And like over 80% said the magazine was really good, and they all agreed that my nearest competitor was Enemy. And most of them agreed that it stands out from the competition. Over 70% of the people they asked said they would buy my magazine, and 80% could immediately tell what my genre was. And 60% said it was priced correctly. Our criticism was that the overall layout could be improved by rearranging the text and making it look less busy and untidy. And 80% said they would recommend it to a friend. And I've got some videos here and some thoughts.
Really love the colours of the background. Really contrasted the silhouette. And also the style typography like fits well the theme of the magazine. And all the writing's like really clear to read, and it makes it more appealing so you don't have to think about it.
Right, attracting my audience. I said the best ways to attract them was to make it fast and interesting. We like things to be quick and easy and accessible with lots of variety. So things like Facebook and places to eat like KFC, like the fast food restaurants, all take part of these attributes. The majority of our life is supplied fast and easily, or we get bored. For this reason, any advertising I do will reflect this and will be fast itself, avoiding my audience to become bored even before they buy the magazine. It doesn't entertain, it doesn't last. We want to pass the time, but we don't want to feel that we're wasting our time, and we get easily distracted. And there's so much that we can do that has to be different to everything else. Things like PS3 and going out to concerts and the Xbox all take part in this. We have so many options it has to grab our attention. For this reason, I'll make any advertisements bright and visually interesting to look at to really grab their attention at the beginning. These are all popular places that I could start advertising and attracting my audience. Like I said earlier, the most popular means of transport is buses. They often attend cinemas and billboards. I can really submerge my audience. And then associating with reputable brands like River Island and HMV and Topman, I can all bring in more customers. Like I said, I can reach my audience in the places I know they visit the most. Associating my magazine with established brand names should reinforce that the magazine is a reputable product. Fast and interesting. These 2 points are what I believe to be the most effective factors in advertising. They are the basis for establishing my reputation. Challenging and obeying conventions. Right. My front cover. Here the text is slightly distorted and difficult to read. This makes it different and individual, which I felt really reflected my target indie audience. The scribbly graffiti effect here almost overwhelms the text. I relied heavily on my audience being attracted by the initial layer of photography to pull them in, leaving their curiosity to lead them into reading more of the magazine. However, where I've challenged these conventions, I've also conformed to many. My masthead is accordingly situated. I have a price, barcode, skyline, and the majority of my text is sat within the third left of the page. A contents page. I've situated my text either side of the main picture. Usually a contents page focuses predominantly on writing. However, I have used a strong, powerful photograph. Being more visually interesting is much more important in my mind than the volume of text. Although the position and amount of text flouts a typical convention, the layout does not. I have a list of page titles sorted chronologically, listed vertically. Also, to the right, I have recommended sections, which titles and featuring articles, making popular subjects easier to find. For my interview, I also tried to obey the majority of conventions, as this is the most serious part of my magazine, appealing to the more serious music fans, giving it a strong professional look, but appealed to them more than lots of fancy pictures. However, using a decorative title keeps to the continuous magazine style of being decorative. Representation of social groups. I aim my magazine at 16 to 18-year-olds. I can easily rate in this age group, and my survey results allow me to support any of my own thoughts with others. So what stereotypical teenage attributes? Continuous use of graffiti obviously doesn't represent every teenager, but it's a common association which I thought was important to outline. Throughout my pages, urban settings were used. I wanted to reinforce the relatable settings, such as streets and alleyways, whilst also suggesting rebellious teen tendencies. The majority of teenagers are familiar with the city settings, spending most of their time in them. Situating my photos in countryside would be completely irrelevant and unrelatable to my audience. I also tried to represent my teenage and the demographic through their dialect. In my interview, I've used a more adolescent vocabulary, using words like My main articles feature subjects on music festivals and opportunities to save money. I put these in as I recognise that teens reading this magazine will undoubtedly be into music, and as 16 to 8-year-olds probably attending university or college, thus probably being short of money most of the time. The distribution of Propeller. I asked my audience which do you think is the closest competitor for my magazine, and they heavily agreed that NME was. And I used NME in my initial startup as a mood board, and it was my reflection of my magazine, as you can see here in other slides I've produced. NME was my main inspiration. Even my questionnaire revealed my target audience could instantly tell that they were the nearest competitors within the market. Because of this, I would distribute my products similar to how NME does theirs. And the distribution of NME includes several different ways. They have a Facebook account. They sell on Amazon quite highly. They're on Waterstones. Can be found at WH Smith. They have their own website and MySpace account, and lots of news agents. NME uses lots of online means of distribution and promotion. They have MySpace and Facebook accounts allowing for event updates and magazine advertisements. The magazines can be purchased through retailers such as WH Smith, Amazon, Waterstones and Martin McCall's. Distributing my magazine through similar channels will allow me to create blogs, keeping fans updated with Propeller events and issues. Also providing my magazine through a small selection of retailers to begin with will allow more impulse buyers and reach passers-by through an innovative look. Pulling in first-time and impulse buyers will allow for my reputation to be established within the market. As Propeller's name grows on the high street, my fans will continuously grow on MySpace and Facebook. And once a fairly confident name is being built through the selection of shots, internet affiliations, I will then break into more mainstream means of distribution, proving to reputable retailers such as WH Smith that my magazine will pull in customers for them will prove easier as evidence of internet followers and previous sales figures. Once Propeller is on branded shelves like WH Smith, Waterstones and online distributors like IPC and Future.com, already existing fans of other music magazines such as NME and Kerrang should become curious and take an interest in Propeller. These distributing operations should lead to a huge success of my magazine and therefore sales figures. So the technology that I've used. I used SurveyMonkey to get results. I used Issue to upload any slides that I wanted to be put up onto my Blogger. SlideShare. Blogger I used. PowerPoint I used lots of. And of course Photoshop, which was the main focus of making my magazine initially. And what I've learned how to design and piece together a magazine which professionally reflects the appearance of a genuine magazine, and the reasons why the magazine is laid out in this way. Collecting relevant and genuine feedback through an attractive survey structure.